Canada just celebrated its 156th birthday. And if you're considering immigrating here to Canada, or you've already immigrated here and just working in your citizenship, then this video is for you. My name is Ryan and I'm an HR professional and entrepreneur here in Canada. And today we're going to talk about the different rights and privileges of being a Canadian citizen. So I know that your time is precious, so let's get into it. The first thing I wanted to share is your right to vote. So when you become a citizen, you have the right to vote in federal, provincial, and municipal elections. And sometimes it's just more than just the act of voting itself. It's also that sense of pride that you're able to take part in shaping the country's future. So voting is one of those privileges. The next one is being able to run for public office. For those aspiring politicians out there, if you guys are not Canadian citizens yet, then you won't be able to run for office. But there's something unique about Canada where you don't necessarily have to be born in Canada to attain a position as high as a prime minister, unlike the US where you need to be born in the US to become a president. It's kind of neat, right? The third benefit is actually having this. This. So having a Canadian passport actually is very convenient for you because it's like me with my family when we travel to different parts of the world. I don't have to arrange to get a visa to visit a certain country. A lot of times we just show our passport in the customs and then we're good to go. So that's really convenient, especially if you're traveling with a lot of kids like myself. We got 2 kids and when they were younger, it was kind of tough when we didn't have our Canadian passport yet. We'll have to plan way ahead, get all the visas, the documentations, and it can be really uneasy and inconvenient at times. So this is pretty nifty. This is very helpful and just make things a lot easier. Another benefit that ties a little bit with travel is Canadian citizens have a very strong protection abroad. If you get into any issues, legal or any emergencies that you would need a consular services, Canadian government or Canadian consular services is available whenever you need it. The next benefit I want to share with you is you don't have any restrictions with finding a job. So you can actually apply to any job that is available in the market. And it's quite different when you have permanent residency or a temporary visa status because not all the jobs will be available for you. One thing that I actually discovered while researching for this video is that if you have a permanent residency, you can actually apply for any position in the Canadian Armed Forces. I think that only changed last year, 2022. Before that, you had to be a Canadian citizen to apply for the Canadian Armed Forces. So really good to know. The next benefit is actually one of the biggest reasons why a lot of individuals prefer to come to Canada, and that's education and healthcare benefits. So with education, you don't necessarily have to pay a lot of money for your child to get into school up until they reach university, of course, because that's a different story. For me and my wife, we have 2 kids, and when they started school here, we barely paid anything. I think I paid over $100 for the entire school year, and that's for miscellaneous, I believe. And there was one time where we didn't have any means of transportation for the kids to go to school, so we had to pay for school buses, where I believe I paid like 40 Canadian dollars every month for that. If you look at the cost of sending kids to school outside of Canada in different countries, it can be very costly and expensive. So that's a really good benefit for us parents because it allows us to save money and you don't have to worry about those things. The other one is healthcare. So if in case we fall ill or sick, we just go to any clinic or hospital even, and we don't have to pay anything. All we need to do is just present our health card. So we get all the medical benefits, we get administered, we get treated, we get taken care of, and there's nothing to worry about. Unlike some other countries where you have to pay in advance to get treated or get treated first, but they're not going to release you unless you pay the hefty bills, right? So having that gives you a bit of assurance and security. At least you know that your health is going to be taken care of. The next one is social benefit. So as a Canadian citizen, you do have access to all the social benefits of the government. That includes employment insurance, old age security, and Canadian pension plan. So if you are not a Canadian citizen and say for example you're a permanent resident, you do have access to a lot of social benefits, but not all of it. So that's another privilege of being a Canadian citizen. So another privilege of being a Canadian citizen that actually benefits us is being able to sponsor our relatives to come here to Canada. And it's not only that, there's something that I learned recently as well, where if you are born in Canada, then you become automatically a Canadian citizen. But if you're born outside of Canada and have a a parent that's a Canadian citizen, they can actually transmit that citizenship to you as well. So it's quite nice because it makes it a lot easier for you to bring your family here, including those descendants or dependents. So another benefit that I'm really interested about is dual citizenship. So Canada is one of those countries that allow dual citizenship. I can be a Canadian citizen and also another citizen of another country. So in my case, I've always wanted to retire back home, which is the Philippines, because I just know that the bang for my buck from Canadian dollar to pesos will be much more. Retiring back in the Philippines, which will make more economical sense for me than retiring here in Canada. Also, I do have plans to buy properties and maybe come up with a business back home. Having dual citizenship really plays well to my advantage, especially when it comes to paying taxes. And the very last benefit of being a Canadian citizen is certainty and permanence. What does that mean? When you become a Canadian citizen, it's quite hard to revoke that citizenship. I've heard that it's actually much easier to apply for citizenship than revoke your citizenship. But I couldn't really think about any reason why you will want to revoke your citizenship. For me and my wife and my kids, getting our citizenship is probably the best thing that happened to us, because it doesn't only open opportunity for me and my family, but the generations to come as well. And Canada's just a beautiful place to live in, and the culture is very friendly and welcoming. So I don't really see why anyone will revoke their citizenship. And that's about it. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope you find value in it. And if you did, please do like and subscribe to my channel because it helps my channel grow. And let me know if there's any video that you want me to make that would elevate your career, your wealth, and your lifestyle here in Canada. Again, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.